Luke shot up from his chair the moment Grace stumbled backward, tears streaking down her cheeks. A table of laughing voices behind him whispered, "It was just a joke." But Luke's hands were already trembling with rage. Grace clutched her purse like a shield, her voice shaking as she whispered, "I shouldn't have come. I should have known." And when she turned to leave, Mia's small voice cut through the room. "Daddy, why are they laughing at her?" Every head in the restaurant turned. Trevor froze mid-smirk. Grace froze mid-step. And Luke, his heart pounding, jaw tightening, realized the truth in a single soul-crushing moment. Someone he trusted had done this. They had set up a kind-hearted woman to be mocked and used his name to do it. And when Luke stepped toward Trevor, the silence broke like glass. "What exactly," Luke said, voice shaking, "did you think would happen tonight? Before we dive deeper into the story, tell me, where are you listening from? And don't forget to subscribe because tomorrow I got something special waiting for you." Mia's question still echoed through Luke's head long after Grace hurried out into the cold night. It was the kind of question only a child could ask. Simple, honest, and capable of cracking a grown man wide open. Why were they laughing? Luke turned slowly, facing Trevor, whose smirk had already faded into something uneasy. "Dude, relax," Trevor muttered, grabbing his drink. "It was supposed to lighten you up, get you back on the horse." Luke's voice came out low, dangerous. "You humiliated her." "For what? A joke." Trevor scoffed. "She wasn't even your type. We just figured." "We?" Luke cut in sharply. "Who else was involved?" Trevor swallowed hard and looked away. A spike of dread slid through Luke's chest, but before he could press further, Mia tugged his sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered, "should we check if she's okay?" That one question, small, innocent, decided everything. Luke scooped me into his arms and pushed through the restaurant doors into the foggy night. Grace was already halfway down the block, her shoulders shaking, arms wrapped tightly around herself. "Grace," he called out. She stopped but didn't turn. Luke jogged to her, gently setting Mia down beside him. "Please wait." Grace wiped her face quickly. "I'm sorry, Luke. You don't have to explain anything. I should be used to this by now." Mia frowned. Used to people being mean? Grace forced a smile for her. "Don't worry, sweetheart. Some people laugh because they don't understand what kindness looks like." Luke felt something in his chest shift. Grace wasn't weak. She was carrying a lifetime of hurt with quiet strength. "Let me make this right," Luke said softly. Grace shook her head. "It's not your fault. I knew the moment I saw Trevor's face. I've seen that look before." Luke clenched his jaw. "It won't happen again." As Grace turned toward her car, Luke couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just seen a person walk away who deserved far more than what the world had given her. The next morning, Luke dropped me at school, only to be stopped by her teacher, Allison Gray. Blonde, polished, perfectly put together. "Luke," she said sharply, "can we talk?" He nodded, bracing himself. "I heard about the little incident last night," she began. "Honestly, Luke, these blind dates aren't good for you, especially with someone like that." Luke's stomach twisted. "What do you mean, someone like that?" Allison shrugged, as though discussing the weather. "She's obviously insecure, overweight, emotionally fragile." Luke cut her off. "Stop talking." Allison blinked. "I'm just trying to look out for you." "No," Luke said. "You're trying to shape my life into something that fits your image." He didn't wait for her response. He walked out, leaving Allison stunned. Later that afternoon, while Luke waited for Mia outside school, he heard two parents talking behind him. "Did you see the video? Of that big girl crying at the restaurant? Brutal. Who would go on a date looking like that?" A video? Luke's pulse spiked. He grabbed his phone and opened social media. There it was, a clip of Grace, humiliated, running from the table. Nearly 20,000 views already. And the caption? "Single Dad's Blind Date Disaster," posted by Trevor. Luke felt the world tilt. Rage flooded his veins. The betrayal cut deeper than anything he expected. But then, his heart sank further. Grace hadn't been online all day. No messages. No posts. Nothing. Luke exhaled shakily. Something was wrong. And for the first time in years, he realized he needed someone not to save him, but to let him save them. Now, let's see what happens next. Luke spent the rest of the afternoon trying to reach Grace, calling and messaging her, but every attempt went unanswered. With each passing hour, concern tightened like a fist around his chest. He replayed the video over and over, not because he wanted to see it, because he needed to understand the damage done. The comments were brutal. Bro, she thought she had a chance. Blind date? More like blindside. Luke should have run too. Imagine being that big and thinking a guy like him would stay. Luke slammed his phone down, fighting the urge to put his fist through the wall. This wasn't a prank. It was character assassination. It was cruelty disguised as humor. And the worst part? He recognized a shaky laugh in the background of the video. Trevor's voice. His best friend. Luke grabbed his jacket, ready to confront him, but just then Mia tugged at his pant leg. Daddy, are you mad? Luke knelt. Not at you. Honey, never at you. Is the lady from the restaurant okay? He didn't have an answer. That terrified him more than anything else. Luke headed straight to Trevor's apartment. The door swung open to reveal Trevor holding a beer, looking far too relaxed for a man who had detonated someone's life. Oh, good. Trevor grinned. You saw the video. Ain't it wild how fast it's blowing up? I told you this stuff gets engagement. Luke didn't let him finish. He slammed Trevor back against the wall. What is wrong with you? Luke's voice echoed, raw and shaking. She's a person, Trevor. She could be hurting, she could be... Dude, chill. Trevor shoved him away. It was a joke. You're overreacting because she got emotional. Big girls cry, man. Luke punched him. Hard. Trevor crashed into the couch, blood trickling from his lip. You're insane. No, Luke growled. I'm a father, and I'm a human. Something you clearly forgot how to be. Trevor wiped his mouth, scoffing. You want to know something? Allison said the same thing. She's the one who told me you needed to wake up and stop wasting your life. She even sent me your texts to her. The ones where you said you didn't want to date anyone. Luke froze. Allison, what? She thought she was helping. Thought maybe if you embarrass yourself a little, you'd run back to her. The room spun. Allison had done this. Indirectly, but intentionally. The betrayal hit Luke deep in the ribs. He didn't shout. Didn't hit Trevor again. He just walked out. Quietly, which somehow scared Trevor far more. Luke needed a moment. He picked up Mia, brought her home, cooked dinner with trembling hands, and tucked her into bed early. Just hearing her breathing steadied him. When he checked his phone again, there it was. A message from Grace. Hi, Luke. I'm safe. Just overwhelmed. Please don't worry. Luke exhaled so deeply he felt lightheaded. But relief didn't last long, because the message was followed by a second one. Please don't come looking for me. That didn't sound like safety. That sounded like surrender. Luke immediately typed back. Grace, I don't care what anyone said. You deserve kindness. Please talk to me. No response. And the read receipt never turned on again. The next morning at school drop-off, Allison was waiting with crossed arms and an expression so practiced it was brittle. Luke, she said sharply, we need to talk. No, he replied, walking past her. She followed. I heard you confronted Trevor. You're blowing this out of proportion. Out of proportion? He stopped. You told him personal things about me. Things I trusted you with. Allison flinched. I was trying to help. You weren't making good choices. And humiliating someone was a good choice. She set herself up for it. Allison snapped before she could catch herself. Look at her, Luke. You deserve better. Silence fell like a thunderclap. Every parent nearby heard it. One mother gasped. Another shook her head. A father muttered, Did she really just say that? Luke stepped closer, voice steady but cutting. No, what I deserve is kindness. What you deserve is to look in the mirror and ask why you needed to destroy someone else to feel superior. Allison's face went white. Students stared. Teachers stared. It was very clear. This wasn't just about jealousy. It was about someone who confused cruelty with standards. Luke walked away before she could respond. By midday, something worse happened. A new video appeared. This time, it wasn't from Trevor. It was from a teenager who had filmed the restaurant scene from a different angle, one that captured Grace far more clearly. And the comments? Crueler, faster, sharper. People dug through her social media, posted old photos, made memes. And the worst, someone found the obituary for her mother and mocked it in the comments. Luke felt sick. He tried calling Grace again. Still nothing. Then, during his break, he received a call from the library. "Hi, is this Luke Harmon?" "Yes. I think you're connected to Grace." Luke's heart stopped. "Is she okay?" The librarian hesitated. "She didn't come into work today. Or call. And she never misses a shift. She left her badge and keys in the return drop box." Luke felt cold wash over him. Did she leave a note? A small one. It just said, "I'm sorry." Dread swallowed him whole. He didn't hang up politely. He sprinted to his truck, hands shaking as he turned the ignition. Grace was disappearing, and he refused to let her fade like she believed she should. Luke drove straight to Grace's apartment complex. He knocked. No answer. He called out. Nothing. Finally, the landlord, a tired older woman, peeked out from her door. "She left this morning," she said softly. "Car packed. Told me I could rent the place out. Seems like she's running from something." "Did she say where she was going?" The woman nodded toward the nearby bus station. Said she was catching the first bus out of town. Luke didn't wait. He ran. Not walked, ran. Through traffic, past stores, past confused strangers. His lungs burned, but he didn't stop. By the time he reached the station, the bus was already boarding. And there, 5 people from the back of the line, stood Grace, shoulders hunched, hoodie up, eyes swollen from crying. She wasn't running to somewhere. She was running from belief that she didn't deserve to exist anywhere. Luke pushed through the line. People yelled. Someone tried to grab his arm. He didn't care. Grace. She flinched but didn't turn. He stepped in front of her. Her eyes lifted. Broken. Apologetic. Resigned. "Luke," she whispered. "Please let me go. This town won't forget. They never do." "Then we'll leave together," he said without hesitation. Her breath caught. "What? You think I'm letting you face this alone? Grace, you taught my daughter that kindness matters more than image. You deserve someone who sees you. I see you." Grace's lips trembled. "Why are you doing this?" Luke swallowed hard. "Because someone once saved me when I felt invisible. Now it's my turn." For the first time in days, Grace let herself cry. Not from humiliation, but from someone choosing her when the world tried to erase her. And just when it seemed like she might step off the bus, a voice behind them shattered the moment. "Well, isn't this touching?" Luke turned. Allison stood there, and she wasn't alone. 2 PTA mothers flanked her, arms crossed, eyes full of judgment. "Luke," Allison said coldly, "we need to talk about your daughter's future. And I can promise you this. If you stay with her, Mia will pay the price at school." The entire bus terminal went silent. Grace froze. Luke's jaw tightened. The stakes had officially crossed from social humiliation to a direct threat against his child. And that changed everything. Before we dive deeper into the story, tell me once again, where are you listening from? And don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. Now, let's see what happens next. Allison's words echoed to the bus terminal like a threat wrapped in poison. Luke stepped in front of Grace instinctively, as if shielding her from gunfire. "You're threatening my daughter now," he asked, voice low but trembling with fury. Allison lifted her chin. "Actions have consequences, Luke. If you're seen with her, Mia will be targeted. Kids can be cruel. I'm trying to help you avoid that." "No," Luke said softly. "You're trying to preserve your image of what a proper family looks like." The mothers beside her exchanged uneasy glances. People were recording now. Phones raised, attention freezing the moment in permanent frames. Allison tried to reclaim control. "Look at her," she hissed. "She's running away, because she can't handle the real world. And you, well, you're desperate for affection. This isn't love, Luke. It's pity. Grace flinched like she'd been struck. Luke exhaled sharply. Grace, he said without turning, do you believe that? Grace didn't answer. Tears trembled at the edges of her eyes. The shadows of humiliation and fear coiled around her like chains. And Luke knew this moment could either heal her or break her for good. He faced her fully. Grace, listen to me. Pity is when someone looks down on you. But I've never looked down on you. Not once. You are kind, intelligent, compassionate, and you treated my daughter with more gentleness than most adults ever have. Her breath caught. And you? Luke continued. You didn't run because you're weak. You ran because you spent a lifetime being punished for taking up space. But you deserve space. You deserve respect. You deserve to exist loudly, freely, without apologizing. Grace's tears fell. But this time, something warm flickered inside them. Allison scoffed. You're embarrassing yourself. No, Luke cut in. I'm finally being honest. The bus door beeped. The driver called, last call. Grace stepped back toward the bus, heart torn in two directions. She whispered, Luke, I can't stay. Not after everything. People don't forget what they've seen. Then let me forget with you, Luke pleaded. Let me build something new with you. His voice cracked, raw and vulnerable. Grace froze, breath shaking. Allison jumped in, desperate to regain her grip. Luke, if you walk away with her, Mia will lose her place in the enrichment program. I will speak to the school board. You know I can. A collective gasp spread through the terminal. Now it was no longer a social fight. It was a war over Mia's future. Grace shook her head violently. Luke, no. She's your daughter. She comes first. I can't be the reason she suffers.
And I can't let you vanish because of someone else's cruelty, Luke insisted. Grace covered her face. Please, you have to choose. If you stay with me, you both lose. Silence swallowed the terminal. Then, Mia already chose, Luke whispered. Grace lowered her hands. I told her what happened, he said. Do you know what she said? Grace shook her head slowly. She said, Daddy, we should help the lady who helped us. Grace's lips parted, trembling. Kids aren't cruel, Luke said, glaring at Allison. Adults teach them to be. Allison's mask cracked for the first time, panic flickering through her eyes. The bus driver called again. Sir, ma'am, decision time. Grace looked at the bus, then at Luke, then at the world that had hurt her so many times. Her voice broke as she whispered, Luke, if I stay, you'll lose everything. He gently took her hand. Grace, then we'll rebuild everything. Together. A sob escaped her lips. The bus hissed as its doors began to close. Grace took a step toward Luke. The terminal held its breath. And then, a shout erupted from the far end of the station. Luke, wait. Luke and Grace turned, and the last person they expected came running toward them, holding something that could change everything. Luke's heart lurched as the figure sprinting toward them came into focus. It was Mia, cheeks flushed, backpack bouncing, breathless but determined. Daddy, wait, she gasped, skidding to a stop. She held something tightly in her small hand. Luke knelt. Honey, what are you doing here? You were supposed to stay in the car with Mrs. Patel. She said you ran inside and looked scared, Mia said. And I didn't want you to be scared alone. Her eyes shifted to Grace. A shy, warm smile formed. Hi, Miss Grace. Grace's heart shattered and mended all at once. Hi, sweetheart. Mia held out her hand. Inside it was a crumpled drawing, one she had made days earlier. A little girl, a man, a woman, all holding hands under a sun with a big smiling face. Grace blinked. Is that me? Mia nodded proudly. I made it after you helped me with my school project. Daddy didn't know yet. I wanted it to be a surprise. Luke looked at his daughter, stunned into silence. Mia continued softly, Miss Grace is kind. And she makes you smile, Daddy. The big smile, the one you only do when your heart feels full. Grace covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Then Mia turned, facing Allison with the clarity only a child could possess. You're not allowed to scare my daddy, or Miss Grace, or anyone. The mothers behind Allison murmured in agreement. Some lifted their phones again. The tide had shifted. Allison opened her mouth, but no words came. For the first time, she was the one shrinking under the weight of public judgment. Grace looked from Mia to Luke. But the program, she whispered. Her future. Luke shook his head firmly. Our future is not controlled by people who think kindness is a weakness. Grace's knees nearly gave out. Luke stepped closer. Grace, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what they think. I care about the people who show up when life falls apart. And today, you showed up in a way nobody else ever has. He took her hand again, gently but with certainty. Mia slipped her small fingers into Grace's other hand. And just like at her drawing, the three of them stood together. Grace exhaled a long, trembling breath, the kind that releases years of shame, fear, and loneliness. Luke whispered, "Come home with us." Tears streamed down Grace's cheeks. Tears of relief, hope, and the terrifying beauty of being chosen. She nodded, and as the bus pulled away behind them, empty and forgotten, Grace realized something profound. She hadn't been running from her life. She had been running toward a new one. A life where kindness wasn't just an act, but a doorway to love, healing, and family. 6 months passed, and the world around them looked completely different. Grace moved into a small house near Luke and Mia, not out of dependency, but out of shared desire to build something new, deliberately, gently, at a pace that honored all their wounds. She enrolled in evening classes for social work, using her own story as the fuel to help children struggling with confidence and identity. Every week, she saw more clearly that her pain had a purpose. Luke rebuilt his life too. He no longer rushed from shift to shift, exhausted and numb. Instead, he opened a small carpentry workshop with the help of his co-workers, who, after witnessing how Grace transformed his life, started showing up for him in ways they never had before. And Mia, she blossomed. Her teachers noticed she laughed more, shared more, trusted more. She had always wanted a woman in her life who made her feel safe, and Grace filled that space with a tenderness that healed them both. Even Allison changed. Months after the incident, she approached Grace privately, tears in her eyes, admitting she had been cruel out of her own insecurities. Grace forgave her, not because she had to, but because kindness was a language she finally realized she had always deserved. Their story spread through the community as a quiet reminder. Sometimes the most unexpected people become the greatest blessings. Stories like this remind us that extraordinary kindness exists all around us. If this touched your heart, please like this video. It helps more people find these inspiring stories. Leave a comment telling me what you think, and subscribe for more tales that restore faith in humanity. And before you go, what act of kindness will you perform this week?